Good afternoon. I'm going to call to order this regular meeting of the Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management Committee. Today is December 2nd, 2015. This is the last meeting of 2015. I'm Councilmember Blong Yang. I'm chair of this committee. With me today are the following council members: Councilmember Wright, Councilmember Palmisano, Councilmember Gordon, Councilmember Warsami, and Council President Johnson. Today we have five items on the agenda. The first item is item for public hearing regarding civil rights board and commission appointments. The second item is second, third, and fourth items are consent items, and the second item is a detox van service contract with Hennepin County. The third item is bomb disposal unit grant award. The fourth item is bomb security services contract amendment with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then the fifth item is a discussion item. It's an item regarding Contract Compliance Division 2015 third quarter report. And I believe, Councilmember Palmisano, you have a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, you've moved to approve the agenda, right?
Right.
So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask for an amendment on the agenda. I'd like to also have some time to include public comment for those here that may wish to speak to any matter regarding to the recent events in the 4th Precinct.
Okay.
I think we should also do that for a time certain. So maybe if people could keep their comments to a few minutes and we make that time available for up to an hour.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. Council members, any discussion on that? Councilmember Gordon?
I think it's fine. I guess my only concern is if we take up this topic now, what about people who would have come if they knew they had an opportunity to give public comment and may not actually be here now? Is there a commitment that we'll give them another opportunity to address a council committee or address the council at some future date? I'm not quite sure. It seems a little bit last minute to take this matter up when it wasn't on the agenda. But I'm all for taking public comment.
Okay. Councilmember Gordon, I will respond to that. And I would just say that, there have been folks in the community who've wanted, an opportunity to weigh in on this. And this is just kind of an opportunity. This is the last time in 2015 that we will have that opportunity. And so, to me, I mean, it's a good move in terms of allowing people to, say what they need to say with regards to the events that have been happening up on in the 5th Ward in the 4th Precinct. Any other person who has any comments with regards to that for the discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We will add that as item number 6. And we will, with regards to that, we'll just take public comments. There's no action on that. So it's just really us hearing from, constituents or anybody who wants to speak on the issue. Right, so the first item is the public hearing and the Civil Rights Boards and Commissions appointments, and it's to consider the following appointments for Police Conduct Oversight Commission, approving the City Council and confirming mayoral appointments as follows. And, let me just welcome Director Corbell to the microphone and have her introduce this whole thing, because it'd probably be easier than me doing it.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Velma Corbell, and I am the director in the Minneapolis Department of Civil Rights. And the department is here today to bring your nominees for both the Civil Rights Commission, the Police Conduct Oversight Commission, and the Police Conduct Review Panel. So there are actually a succession of items, Mr. Chair. But before I would get into the details of that, if you would indulge me for just a minute. The last time we met, we had 2 new employees in the room that I was remiss in not introducing to you, and I'd like to introduce both of those individuals now. We have a new director of the Office of Police Conduct Review. Her name is Imani Jafar. Imani is here. She's been on board now about 5 weeks. So I wanted to make sure to have an opportunity for you to meet her. And we have a new director of complaint investigations in the Civil Rights Department. We have Danielle Shelton Walchek, and Danielle has been here about 4 weeks. So they're both they're brand new, and they actually have the item. They're going to introduce the nominees to you today. I think Danielle is doing that for the team, but we're bringing this motion before you just to ask you to open the public hearing.
Okay. Who's going to be the first? Yep. Please come and do the introduction, and then we'll open up the public hearing after you do the presentation.
Okay. Chair Yang, council members, my name is Danielle Shelton Volchek. I'm the director of the Complaint Investigations Division for the Civil Rights Department. And I'm coming before you today to ask for the approval of a slate of candidates for the Minneapolis Commission on Civil Rights. As a brief explanation, in late October, early November, we went through an interview process of some very highly qualified candidates. A part of that process, interview process, included myself, Amani Jafar of the Office of Police Conduct Review. Thank you. I'm still learning. Councilmember Gordon and Nicole Archibald from the mayor's office. Through our extensive conversations, we came up with a slate of candidates, which I believe that you have in front of you. And also we have a few of those candidates present today to address the committee if you're so inclined.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. And
any questions?
council members, any questions? All right. Do you want to read off the names of the folks? And are there folks here who want to speak?
Sure. I can name. Would you like me to name? I'm sorry, to clarify the name of the people who are here to speak, or just all the candidates?
Right. If you can just list all the candidates,
oh, sure.
I can open up the public hearing, then we can hear from the candidates if they want to speak or if they don't want to speak.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So the slate of candidates that we're asking for approval from this committee is Aaron Cornfield, Dion Rushin, Raya Rowe, Marla Kahn-Schwartz, Lonnie Nichols, John Oberruder, Taboda Sayon, Elizabeth Lieb, Ethel Norwood, Taylor Crouch, and Jared Hanks. Today in council's chambers, we have present Taboda Sayon, Taylor Crouch, and Ethel Norwood to speak to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, well, council members, I will open up the public hearing, and for the speakers, I know there are a lot of names. I don't know if there are a lot of speakers, and so we're not going to have a sign-up list. But for the folks who want to speak, if you can just stand up and just make a line behind the microphones there, we will open up the public hearing, and we'll start with testimony from folks. And if you can limit your comments to about 2 minutes, that would be wonderful. Okay.
Thank you. Do you guys want to start?
Go ahead. Yes.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management Committee for this opportunity to speak briefly to you. I was asked to give a few highlights of my interest in serving on the Police Conduct Review panel.
Can I stop you for just a sec? Can you introduce yourself and give us your address before you start with your comments?
My home address?
Yes.
1332 Irving Avenue North, 55411.
Okay, and your name?
Ethel Norwood.
Wonderful. Go ahead.
Thank you. The highlights that I would like to share are, I believe there is an opportunity during 2016 to create an expanded vision for a cultural transformation within the Minneapolis Police Department. Also, to expand and implement training for deliberate response to carry out Minneapolis Police Department mission, their vision, their values, and their goals. And my final highlight will be that the Minneapolis Police Department leadership team commit to multiple resources to model perseverance through restoration for Minneapolis Police Department and the community in which we serve. Accountability and stability shown to the Minneapolis community by the Minneapolis Police Department leadership team in their daily lives. This would allow truthfulness to become the expected norm within the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you, and I look forward to serving.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would also like to thank each of you, Public Safety and the Emergency Management and Civil Rights Department, for allowing me the opportunity to come in and share my interest in why I would like to be a part of the Police Conduct Committee. My name is Taboda Sian, and I'm a 40-plus year resident of Minneapolis. I currently live in North Minneapolis in the 5th Ward for well over 15 years. I currently serve in the capacity of an Economic Development Manager for Minneapolis Urban League, and I am constantly in communication with members of the community who have been affected by various injustice and mistreatment, not only by the police, but perhaps employers and various other entities. And so this opportunity is very dear to me because I'm in the interest of doing some fact finding and being able to be of support and learning more about the process and how I can go about educating the community and those in which I work with. More importantly, I would like to see that police brutality be reduced. I would like to see that this systematic issue go away. I would like to see that there's more improvements in the requirements of and accountability of the police. Sharing the reports of the misconduct that happens within our community. I also would like to see that there's more balance in the residency of the police in our community. I believe that it's important that if they're going to be policing in our community, that they are actually residents of our community, so they actually are going to work, but not only worshiping and shopping within our community, so they're really active in our community rather than going out to their separate residence outside of the area in which they serve. I think it's really important. I also have an interest in supporting community and being that we're equally treated in the process, and that the reporting of misconduct is fair for not only minorities, but also for those who are, of low income. I feel that a lot of the reporting is not being done in a proper manner, and I think that more people need to be alerted as to why these issues are being taking place. And then also I'd like to improve policy and how things are, I already said that. Sorry, kind of at a loss right now. But I believe that as a concerned citizen, that I think that I would be a good asset to the team, and I think that I would be able to really represent the community well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Taylor Edward Crouch. I live on 1125 West 28th Street in Minneapolis. While walking along Plymouth Avenue North, children came out of their homes to listen and watch their neighbors speaking out against police brutality. They demanded videos, accountability, action, and responsibility. They shouted, "The people united will never be defeated." However, the people within Minneapolis are not united. They are segregated by race, ethnicity, age, and economic status. Our society does not thrive in these environments because we define ourselves through our differences. You versus me, us versus them. This is not effective, and it is polarizing. As a graduate student of public policy at the Humphrey School, I have discerned a deep responsibility to address our broken society. My international academics have taught me that before we begin critiquing our neighbors abroad, we must begin to address the injustices in our backyard. I believe our society should both hold all citizens to the same standard, that we act in ways that benefit the entire community, not just our personal interests. A successful review process requires people on both sides of the issues to ensure policies which are fair, prompt, and effective. This is a challenging balance to maintain, requiring collaboration and compromise. I promise to uphold the mission and vision of creating a positive culture between citizens, which enhances mutual respect and compassion for every member of our community. The citizens on the streets shouted, "Show me what democracy looks like." And we replied, "This is what democracy looks like." Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there any other speaker with regards to the Minneapolis Commission on Civil Rights? Going once? Going twice? All right, we will close the public hearing with regards to the Minneapolis Commission on Civil Rights. Council members, that's item number one of 1.3, let's just call it. Okay, so we will close that, and council members, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the whole thing before we just discuss each one of them or all of them together. So who's next in terms of, okay, all right, come on up.
Good afternoon, Chairman Yang, City Council members. My name is Imani Jafar. I'm the Director of the Office of Police Conduct Review, and I'm going to be giving you the overview of the candidates for both the Police Conduct Oversight Commission as well as the Police Conduct Review Panel. I'll start with the Police Conduct Review Panel. There are 4 people seeking appointment: Dennis Wagner, Sarah McCann, who's present, Philip Trebetowski, and Kenneth Rantz, who is also present. For the Police Conduct Oversight Commission, Afshin Feruzan, who is present, Jennifer Singleton, who is present, Andrew Buss, who is present, Laura Westfall, who is present, and Andrea Brown, who is also present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so since I've done it like this, we're going to do it in a specific way. We're going to open up the public hearing for the Police Conduct Review Panel. And we're going to stick with that, and then we will open and close that, and then we will move to the last one, which is the Police Conduct Oversight Commission. So with regards to the Police Conduct Review Panel, we will open up the public hearing. If the speakers or the folks who are here to speak on that want to get up to the microphone, please do so, and then just state your name and your address, and let's go from there. Keep your comments to about 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah McCann, and I want to thank you for reviewing my application for reappointment to the Police Conduct Review Panel. I appreciate the commitment the city has made to this effort, especially now when increasing community trust and police accountability is crucial. So I've been asked to share a few words about my experiences on the panel thus far. My time on the panel has been productive, and I sincerely hope to continue to serve the city of Minneapolis as an appointed member. I am passionate about equity and accountability in policing and believe deeply in the process that has been established here. As a former journalist, I am consistently impressed by the collection of facts, testimony, and data on each case that is made available to us. As an educator in a low-income school, I am very appreciative of the concern given to those who file complaints, for they are disproportionately low-income people. I've been impressed by the officers who make efforts to clarify standard policies and procedures, and who are also deeply committed to ensuring that the police remain accountable to the public. They hold their own to extremely high standards and have encouraged me to ask difficult questions and seek that all involved in these cases are treated fairly. The training provided by the Department of Civil Rights has been instrumental in my knowledge development and success as a civilian panelist. Because of the department, I am empowered to make decisions based on facts and knowledge of police policy and practice. The department has gone to great lengths to encourage us to express community concerns and to deepen our understanding of use of force, emerging technologies, and ways to make police practices and conduct review panel practices more transparent to the public. I'm deeply committed to the process, and if reappointed, will continue to serve to the best of my ability with the well-being of Minneapolis citizens always as my goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Council for letting me stand before you to introduce myself. My name is Ken Rantz. I'm a resident of North Minneapolis, near North Neighborhood. My address is 1400 Hall Curve. I was born and raised in Minneapolis. I've been married to my wife, Cheryl Rantz, for 15 years. I have two children, Kennedy and KJ, that attend Elizabeth Hall Elementary School. And I also work in wealth management for TI Croft. I relocated to the Twin Cities 3 years ago from Charlotte, North Carolina, where I served on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Community Relations Committee. And they were responsible for fair housing practices, access to public accommodations, dispute resolution, and the improvement of race relations and communications of diverse communities in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. Through my involvement with the police subcommittee, I was appointed to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Citizens Review Board. And one of the requirements for that appointment was to attend the Citizens Academy for the Police Department. That 10-week program consisted of use of force protocol, police ride-alongs, proper traffic stop procedures, and police cadet admissions and qualifications. So as a Citizens Review Board, I also reviewed appeals of citizens who filed complaints with dispositions opposed by the Chief of Police relating to allegations of officer misconduct, use of force, and arrest, search, and seizure procedures. The reason why I want to serve this capacity is I've served in this capacity before in the city of Charlotte. But also one of the reasons why I moved back to the Twin Cities was to be closer to my mother, who lives in North Minneapolis as well. I'm about a mile from my mother, and the roadway to get to my mother's house is Plymouth Avenue. And on my way to my mother's house, I have to go around a detour. And as I look at the protest that's taking place at the 4th District Police Station, what that says to me is that we have a community of citizens that do not trust and have credibility. And so one of the things that I'd like to do through serving on this panel is to be able to bridge the gap between community and police relationships, and so that we can have a greater Minneapolis for all of their citizens.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else here who wants to speak on the Police Conduct Review Panel? Going once? Going twice? All right, we will close the public hearing on the Police Conduct Review Panel, and we will open up the public hearing with regards to the Police Conduct Oversight Commission. Anyone here who wishes to speak on that, if you can come up and line up, that would be great.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Council members. My name is Afshin Farouzan, Ward 7. Minneapolis police officers.
Could you give your address just for the record?
2002 DuPont Avenue South, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55405. Minneapolis police officers are not separate from the citizens of Minneapolis. They draw the authority from the will and consent of the people. The police are the instrument of the people to achieve and maintain order. The efforts are founded on the principles of public service and ultimate responsibility to the public. Those words are directly from the preface of the Minneapolis Police Department's Policy and Procedures Manual. What I'd like to note in there is that the police are an instrument of the people, but they can't do their job without the consent and feedback from the people. What I seek to do is to reestablish the trust that, as we've seen, has been broken with a large segment of our community. When that trust isn't there, the police cannot do their jobs. And we're going to reestablish that trust through outreach and through a feedback loop both ways. One is so that the community understands that they are being heard. They understand that their ideas, their needs are being heard, and procedures are being considered and implemented to address those concerns. The second part of that feedback is letting the community know what has been done, what steps have been taken, so they know that progress is being made and efforts are being made to meet their goals. And finally, the third facet is facilitating a dialogue so that our police officers know and understand the communities that they work for. So they know the histories of the communities, the histories of the people, and so that they're comfortable working with the communities that they're policing. Because the communities that they're policing, for many people, the police officers are the manifestation of the government. And the government is of the people. So we have to make sure that the policies that our officers can follow reflect the needs of the people. And again, I seek to do that through outreach, establishing trust, and having transparency throughout the entire process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrea Brown. I'm the current chair of the Police Conduct Oversight Commission. I'm seeking a reappointment for both the chair and the Police Conduct Oversight Commission. I'm from Ward 2. My address is 1201 Brook Avenue Southeast, 55414. I'm seeking reappointment for three specific reasons. First, we have done amazing work the past 2 years that we have been in service. As of our meeting December 8th, next Tuesday, we will have 5 published studies that have come out of the Police Conduct Oversight Commission that have not only had policy recommendations, but have actually had acceptance from the MPD and implementation. We've had a culture awareness study, a coaching study, our investigatory stop study, the body cam study, and the doesn't fit any crime study. These are significant not only in time, since we are relatively new and have only been in service for approximately 2 years, but it's significant in the progress. The initial 2 studies came out of what we as commissioners saw from the reports and the complaints that were coming in. The following 3, the investigatory stop, the body cams and the doesn't fit any crime, come from outside organizations. Chief Harteau and the mayor came to the Police Conduct Oversight Commission asking for the PCOC to look into the body cams, to do that audit, to do that research, and to hear from the public. I think that speaks volumes to what the PCOC does and what it represents. And then the ACLU came to the Police Conduct Oversight Commission asking for us to look into a study that they didn't have the resources for. I think that those 2 are huge measures of what the Police Conduct Oversight Commission does in the community as well as what it means to the community. We are a vital part of Minneapolis.
Can you wrap it up, Ms. Brown? Can you wrap it up?
Okay, thank you. And as you can see from as much as I've spoke about the work that PCOC does, I am wholeheartedly 100% into the work that we do, and I just ask for reappointment in your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, community members. My name is Andrew Buss, and I'm also seeking reappointment for the Police Conduct Oversight Commission. I'm from Ward 11, 4624 Pleasant Avenue South, Minneapolis. Since my return to Minneapolis following a 20-year military career, I've continually sought opportunities to become more engaged in the inner workings of my community. Towards this goal, I was appointed in 2012 as a commissioner for the then newly formed PCOC and subsequently as chair of the Policy and Procedure Committee. Following the recent Justice Department audit of the MPD, I also had the opportunity to participate as a member of the department's EIS subcommittee. In the past 2 years, the PCOC has made a great deal of progress in researching and addressing issues with regard to the MPD and the interactions with the community. Through research and study projects on relevant topics such as investigatory stops, cultural awareness training, and the use of body cameras, to name just a few, as well as community engagement and outreach events, community feedback and listening sessions, PCOC has provided information and recommendations to the MPD in order to bridge the gaps between law enforcement and the communities they serve. I've sought additional learning opportunities by attending the Minneapolis Police Citizens Academy and the Hennepin County Citizens Academy. I also trained as a community emergency response team member and joined the Tangletown Neighborhood Association as a board member. These volunteer activities, along with my current employment with the state of Minnesota, providing training for court-appointed advocates for abused and neglected children in juvenile and family court, give me an opportunity to be more engaged and have more direct impact on a state, city, and neighborhood level. My background and experiences, combined with my deep respect for the often difficult but necessary work of the police department, have allowed me to interact with the department as well as the public to promote improved communication, mutual understanding, and ensure fair and lawful services. Whether it's a complex issue such as the implementation of body cameras or de-escalating situations involving hostile or emotionally disturbed individuals, or as simple as an informal coaching session between an officer and a supervisor on how an interaction could have been handled differently, there are always things that can be improved.
Mr. Boss, can you wrap it up?
Yes, sir. It's been a privilege to have served for the past 2 years with the present and current, the previous and current commissioners. Over this time, PCOC has gained momentum, and we've increasingly been in a position to assist both the community and the department. I look forward to the opportunity to continue to learn from and work with numerous individuals, organizations, and agencies, making progress towards safer neighborhoods and mutual trust. Having spent most of the past 3 decades in training roles, I'm a firm believer that my training philosophy has an even greater application outside of the classroom, and that is, what can I do to help you succeed? Thank you for your time and your consideration of my reappointment to the PCOC.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Yang and council members, and thank you for allowing us to speak today. My name is Jenny Singleton, and I currently serve as the Vice Chair of the Police Conduct Oversight Commission, as well as the Chair of the Outreach Committee. I live in Ward 8, and my address is 3805 11th Avenue South. I'll just echo what everybody else has said so far, and that I'm very proud of the work the Commission has been able to do. We've put out, I think, 2 very impactful studies, in particular the body camera study and the stop and